Hello everyone, myself Professor Tushar Gujarati from S&D College of Engineering and Research Center, Yeola. Today we'll study the control systems required for controlling the devices in industrial area. So we need different types of controllers for controlling different machines. So to control those machines we need to understand this control system first of all. Okay, then after understanding you can apply this control system to particular application. So the syllabus of control system is like this. So we need to understand here P, I and D control actions. These are three different control actions that we have to understand. Then we need to understand P, PI, PD and PID control system. So combination of these we have to study. Then we need to study transient response, that is percentage overshoot, rise time, delay time, steady state error. So that transient response of a control system. And what is PID tuning, that we have to study. So what are the objectives of these control systems? The unit control system, what are the objectives? First is to understand key elements of mechatronic system representation into block diagram. Second is understand concept of transfer function, reduction and analysis. Third is understand principles of sensors, its characteristics interfacing with DAQ microcontroller. Understand the concept of PLC system, its ladder programming significance of PLC systems. 5 number is industrial applications. 6 number is understand the system modeling and analysis in time domain and frequency domain. So all the 6 objectives we have covered in our different videos. I have already uploaded all the videos. In all the videos we have covered almost first to 6 all the objectives. Now in this video today we are going to understand the objective number 7, that is understand control actions such as proportional, derivative and integral and study its significance in industrial applications. Okay, that we have to understand. We have to study these control actions and study its significance in industrial applications. And now what will be the outcome? The 5 number point you read. So 5 number point is PID control implementation of real time systems. So that we will try to understand now. After studying this unit you should be able to implement on real time systems this PID control action. Okay, so now we'll start with this topic. So there is very important first question is there, why is controller necessary? Okay, what is the controller necessary? So the blue response resembles an uncontrolled system. You check the waveform shown below. So here the blue response resembles an uncontrolled system. This response is oscillatory as well as it takes much longer to settle down. So this response is oscillatory. You can see there are many peaks are there, and after a large number of peaks the system gets settled down or gets stable. Okay, so for a mechanical system this could be due to inertia effect, friction, backlash, etc. So if there is mechanical system is there, then what will happen? There should be some inertia effect of mechanical parts, friction occurs, backlash error is there. So because of all these phenomena, what happens? The system takes longer time to settle down, and the red response in the same graph is of a controlled system. This response contains no oscillations, so there is no oscillations and it settles to equilibrium steady state in lesser time. So it gets settled down with less time. So what is job of control system? Job of a control system is to generate a control input or effort that can be used to drive the uncontrolled system. Okay, so if there is any uncontrolled system is there, we have to control that system by generating a control input to that system or effort to that system. Okay, so this is the job of control system. Now what does controller do? This is the question. Okay, so here one graph is shown. On x-axis what is shown? It is real axis, and on y-axis it is imaginary axis, correct? So the red color mark, that is X and X, in third and fourth quadrant, X and X, these are undesirable open loop pole locations. So we have already studied in previous videos what is pole and zeros and how to plot them. So the red colored mark X, these are undesirable open loop pole location, and the blue colored X, which is on real axis, it is desired closed loop pole location. So control is all about shifting of the system poles from undesirable to desirable location. So what controller do? Controller shifts this red colored poles towards blue colored pole. Okay. So this is called as controlling. So this shifting is done by the control signal. So there we need one control signal. Suppose it is U. Provided the system allows it, that is system is controllable. Okay, if you want to make control, then your system should be controllable. So like this controller works. It provides control signal, and then the desirable action takes place. So this is the graph for unit step response of a second order system. So let us assume there is one second order system is there, and input to that second order system is unit step. So what will be the output? So output of this system is in the form of transient form. Okay. So we get some peaks, and after some peaks, what happens? The system gets stable down. The output of the system gets stable down or settled down after some peaks. So there are some definitions are there while settling down of the output response. So it is there is some overshoot is seen. So here you see this is maximum overshoot, and this horizontal dark line is nothing but our 1, that is 1 means unit step response line, input line. So from that line, whatever maximum peak is observed, that is called as maximum overshoot. Okay, so this maximum peak is called as maximum overshoot. Now delay time is there. So to achieve 50% of response from 0 to 50, so that time is called as delay time. Suppose input is given and output increases. Okay, so that output increases from 0 to 50%, that is called as delay time. And if that output increases from 0 to 90%, okay, so that is called as rise time. Sometimes it is taken as from 10% to 90%. Okay, so this time is called as rise time. And one more definition is there, settling time. So the time required for the output response to get settled. Okay, this is called as settling time, and there is error of plus or minus 5%. Okay, so that error should be considered, plus or minus 5% while settling time is noted. So like this you have seen 3 to 4 definitions. One is maximum overshoot, one is delay time, rise time, and settling time. So these 4 definitions are very important as far as transient specifications are considered. So these are all called as transient specifications. So definitions are also shown over here. So first definition is percentage overshoot. So now it is written as it is the amount that the response overshoots the steady state or final value at the peak time, expressed as percentage of the steady state value. So this is the amount that the response overshoots of the steady state value. So this is called as percentage overshoot. Now second definition is rise time. So time required for the step response to rise from 10% to 90% of its final value. So just I told you from the graph, the time required to reach from 10% to 90%, it is called as rise time. What is delay time? Delay time is time required for the step response to reach up to 50% of its final value. So from 0 to 50% it is called as delay time. What is settling time? Time required for the step response to decrease and stay within plus or minus 2% of its final value. So this error may be plus or minus 2% or 5%. So the time required to settle down up to plus or minus 2% error, that is called as settling time. And what is steady state error? It is the difference between the output and the reference input after the steady state has been reached. So difference between output and input, whatever difference is there, plus or minus 2%, that is called as steady state error. So it may be 2%, 3%, 4%. Okay, so this is called as transient response specifications. Now we'll study what is feedback controller. So this is the block diagram of feedback controller. So read the first statement. So feedback controller generates and control signal, okay, or it is also called as effort or external disturbance based on the input signal it receives. So this is the control signal and the input signal is error. So difference between measured value and desired value or set point value. Okay, so feedback counters disturbances as well as variation in process. So now you try to understand this. Now we have to focus now on controller. So this is the controller, and now you check what is the input to the controller. So the input here is error. So you always remember the input to the controller is error. So how we calculate error? So error is nothing but difference between the reference input, desired reference input, and the feedback signal. So here it is the summing point which differentiates between desired input and feedback and generates error. So like this error is generated. So you understand. So what is the controller's input? It is error signal. And what is output of controller? It is control signal. So this is the output of controller. It is control signal, or it is also called as effort. And this control signal is given to the plant, so that plant gets controlled. So in order to control plant, we will require some signal, control signal. Okay, so this control signal is generated by controller, and like this plant is controlled, and finally we get actual output. Okay, so actual output is nothing but controlled variable. It is called as controlled variable. You understand the meaning? Controlled means it is already controlled variable. Okay, so if any disturbances occur in the system, what will happen? This actual output changes, and this is changed by this sensor. Okay, and this signal is given to the input, that is summing point, and this will generate error, and according to that control action is generated, and again the plant gets controlled. So like this feedback controller works. So here you remember, I just want to tell you, error is input and control signal is output of the controller. Now this is one definition is there, controllability. Before a control is implemented, it is necessary to determine whether system is controllable. So you should always check whether the system is controllable. You should test the controllability of the system. Controllability is the ability of the system to be controlled provided an external disturbance is available. So what is controllability? Controllability is ability of the system to get controlled. Okay, this is the definition. Now this is the example of controller. This is very important control, that is proportional, integral and derivative controller. So here same thing is written. So this is the controller PID. So input to this controller is error. Error is generated from this input and this feedback. Okay, so the difference between this input and feedback is nothing but error, and output of PID controller is control signal. The control signal controls the plant, and we get the output, desired output. So like this proportional integral derivative controller works. So now we will read the statement. So what is PID? Stands for proportional integral derivative control, and the advantage is written below, that it is being robust and easy to implement. It is one of the most widely used closed loop control for precise operation of industrial application and processes. So it is very robust and easy to implement, that's why it is most widely used closed loop control for precise operation of industrial application and processes. Okay, so thank you so much all of you for watching this video, and in this video we just understood that what is the basics of control systems. So thank you so much.